Hey there, Pauline here, and my sidekick Clover. I'm a certified makeup artist and I'm partnering with Subtl today to answer some of your top questions around summer makeup. The Subtl team populated a bunch of questions from you guys around applications, how to best wear makeup in the summer, so I'm here to answer. So if you want to do some makeup with me and learn some tips, keep on watching. So summer is obviously a very warm time of year. We can tend to be a little bit sweaty, a little bit perspirated. So a lot of these questions pertain to how to kind of mask that. So oily eyelids are fairly normal. They happen especially for folks who apply skincare throughout their day or sunscreen. Any sort of extra layer of product that lives on your face can creep up into your eyelids, and it can sometimes create a little bit of a sheen on top of those lids. Okay, so this might seem obvious, but I want you to go ahead and grab either a tissue or some sort of cotton pad, and I want you to simply do a quick sweep of the eyelids before we even get going on any sort of makeup. This is going to help absorb any product that might have been there, whether it's sunscreen, tinted moisturizer, whatever it may be. And I don't want you to touch it after you do that. Usually, if you're doing a big eyeshadow look, sometimes people will prime the lids with a primer. But today I'm just gonna have you go in and actually use our shine control powder as a bit of a base to help with any sort of excess oil that might be left after you do that quick sweep. I'm using one of our eyeshadow brushes. And I just want you to do a quick sweep right across the lid. So you can see the shine control powder is a very sheer, transparent powder. But again, all that's gonna do is absorb any excess oil that might be left there after you did that pat away. But I really think that patting first helps. So you might only be using the shine control powder around your face, but there's a tip to use it on the eyelids if you do experience any excess oil. So I think the first thing is finding your shade match. Subtl does have a shade match tool on their site that I recommend you check out. If you're not sure of what your shade match is, I think people can tend to choose bronzers that are a little too deep or a little too off undertone for them. My favorite shade to use, I have two. I'm gonna use the shade Latte today. This is my shade match, and I recommend using a fluffier brush. So I'm gonna use our travel brush, this fluffy brush. And my best trick is first, make sure you have everything down on your face that you would want down first before bronzer. So tinted moisturizer, concealer, any sort of face coverage. And then you're gonna go into bronzer after those layers are applied. I do have some tinted moisturizer on right now. And I like to use a fluffier brush just to kind of get all that surface area covered. And then I like to actually dab that first bit of powder off on my hand so that I'm not overpowering with too much pigment. And a really basic trick, if you're a beauty lover, you probably know this, is the 3 trick, but all it does is basically show an outline of where you're supposed to place the product. So basically you wanna be making a big 3 around your face. Reason being, we like to hit the top of that hairline with a little bit of bronzer because that's where we would naturally get hit by some sunlight. So if you get sun-kissed or a little bit of color on your face, this is usually where the sun hits first. The next stroke of the 3 is gonna be right under your cheekbone. So I always like to say, if you don't know where your cheekbone is, look for this little dip or U or L, whatever it may be on your hairline, and use that as your guide. That's gonna be where that next stroke of bronzer goes. So we have that one kind of like U of the 3, and then the second U of the 3 goes out along the jaw, underneath the ear, and along that bottom jawline. So ultimately it's gonna look like this. No fail way to remember where to place it, but then once you kind of get that template down, I like to go back in and really take your time blending. So you can apply more product in any of those areas that you put the stroke. I'm gonna go back in, use that fluffy brush to my advantage, and then you can kind of connect under the jaw and pull down the neck. I like to start right down the middle, right under the chin down to the décolleté area, and then you can kind of just fan out from there. And just don't forget behind the ear and down that back kind of point of your jawbone as well. And then if you really want to contour, you can kind of go back in. You can also do a little bit on your nose, on the eyes, easy bronzer tricks. So I have a few answers, but I think the one that's gonna take the cake is coral. This is such a great summer color. It's bright and it's actually really pretty on multiple skin tones. I know it looks a little maybe intimidating for those who don't really use like poppy colors in their blush, but I personally love this shade. It's like a reddish orange, and I love just using my finger to apply this on the tops of my cheeks and kind of up that cheekbone. It sits kind of right on top of the bronzer, so it's a really nice effortless blend from the bronzer into the lip and cheek shade. And what's so nice about these lip and cheeks is that if you ever feel like you apply too much, just take a clean finger and diffuse it out. And then of course, we're also gonna put this on the lip. Another tip, I like to put some lip balm on first, which I already had on, before applying any of this on my lips, just so it's that really yummy, hydrated finish on the lips. You can put a little bit on the nose for that little sun-kissed look, and then you can layer from there. Totally fair point. I think less is more with highlighter, and putting it in precise placement is also gonna be your best friend. And if you tend to be a little bit oily, go for a powder highlighter. Subtle does have a cream highlighter duo that I personally love for my skin, but let's use the powder today and I'll show you exactly where to place it. Okay, so I'm gonna go in with the shade Rosé. This is one of the Subtle powder highlighters. It has a little bit of a pink undertone to it, and I'm gonna use our retractable brush for this. So I like to just use a teeny tiny bit of highlighter right on the points that your face naturally highlights. So the best way to find those placements is to just get really close into light. I have some good lighting on me right now, and you can literally see like where the light naturally hits. So right here, when I move my face, you can see it kind of moving here. That's really the area that you want to mimic when you place highlighter on. And I'm just gonna lightly dab that Rosé highlighter right in this kind of little like Nike swoop right on top of my cheek. And that's really the first placement that I like to do on both sides. Again, less is more. You're gonna get that natural highlight just from being, you know, in a probably a little bit more humidity than normal, a little bit more heat. You don't need to add too much of your makeup highlight because you're gonna get that natural highlight just by being outside. Now, the next place I like to put a little bit of highlight is right on the tip of my nose. You can see as I move my nose that there's a little bit of light hitting me right here, and there's usually a little bit of light that hits up here. You can go down the whole bridge of the nose, but again, if you don't want to overdo it and you just want to look on the more natural side, I recommend these two places. And then you can do a little bit under the brow bone. Keeping that retractable brush as tight in as possible is really going to help with the precision of where you place this. And then you could even use it as a little bit of inner corner to brighten up that eye area. But I love opting for these powder highlights if you're afraid of oil, just because they set really nicely. They're not too glowy or greasy looking. They are actually matte, but they have that really finely milled shimmer that just looks really natural. If you found this video helpful, definitely check out some of our other videos on our YouTube channel. Hit subscribe, like, comment, all the good things. All right, guys, hope you're having a great summer, and we'll be back with more videos soon. Bye.